All right, many students across America are struggling because they're locked out of their classrooms. They can't go to school. They're forced to learn on their laptop at home. In Chicago, K-8 public school teachers are refusing to return to their classrooms and demanding all classes stay online until teachers are vaccinated. But is this really putting the needs of the students first? Let's bring in our panel of parents from across the country. Justin Riddle's here from Lorton, Virginia, and Lucy Mitchell from Portland, Oregon. First off, Justin, what is your situation at home?
Well, good morning, Brian. Thanks for having us. Our situation for our 190,000 students in Fairfax County is that we've been locked out of our schools for nearly 330 days now. We feel like Charlie Brown in that football. We've had 3 or 4 return to school plans. And just like Lucy, our school board yanks that football away at the last second. It's resulted in a very predictable academic and mental health crisis, and it's time for us to move forward.
You got a 9th grader in the school district, and you moved your 3rd grader to private school because they're willing to do it, and they're willing to go to school. How's your 3rd grader doing?
My 3rd grader is doing phenomenally well, and I got to say, as a parent, it's heartbreaking that I can only afford to send one of my 2 kids to private school. My 9th grader used to be my honors student, my honor roll student. He's really struggling academically and emotionally with the closure, whereas my 3rd grader, the schools are in session. We haven't had COVID issues. It's time for Fairfax County to take advantage of lessons learned from the rest of the industrialized world and our local schools here right in Fairfax County. We've proven that we've learned about this virus. We can mitigate the virus. We can safely return our kids to school.
So an editorial in the Washington Post of all things saying, listen, you got vaccinated, get back to school. You shouldn't be vaccinating teachers if they're not going to agree ahead of time to do their job or fight their union. Let's talk to you, Lucy. You're a parent. You are dealing with a situation where you have a junior in high school and you have an 8th grader. How are they doing?
Oh my gosh, same situation. Ours, we've not even gotten the football. We have not even been given the opportunity to even touch the football. My children have been homeschooling since March of last year. And let me tell you that my daughter, she's a junior in high school. She is excelling, doing the best that she can. But this is the time where she is supposed to be thriving even more, talking to school counselors about college. She can't even get a response from her college counselors. She's doing, like I said, she's doing the best that she can. It's very frustrating. She does have a 3.5. My 8th grader, on the other hand, this is a pivotal time for him. He's supposed to be engaging. He is supposed to be thriving, dealing with sports, which are gone. He is supposed to be, school crushes. Not that you would want to encourage that, but at the same time, that's a part of this time in his life. And, just having that camaraderie with his teachers. And he is dealing with insomnia. He is dealing with struggles and overwhelm. I'm sorry, but I don't deal with 8 hours of Zoom calls in my job, and my son does. His eyes are burning. He is dealing with having to take additional all-natural supplements in order to sleep better. It's one of those struggles.
Lucy, wouldn't it be great if you'd be able to take the money that's going to public schools and go to a private school that's actually in session? And listen, I want to tell you, here's what makes it worse, guys, is that the CDC thinks the kids are safer in school. You're not even keeping the kids safe by keeping them at home. Here's a quote. There is accumulating data now that with high face mask compliance and distancing and cohorting of students to minimize the total number of contacts, we can minimize the amount of transmission in schools. They go on to say the type of rapid spread that was frequently observed in congregate living facilities or high-density work sites has not been reported at education settings in school. So, Justin, how does that make you feel, knowing if you follow the science, the kids would be in the classroom?
It's frustrating to see, but unfortunately, our school board has not followed the science. In response to 300% more kids with Fs, their response is not to improve education. Their response has been to lower the grading standard. In response to our last school delay, their response is not trying to figure out a plan to open up school. Their response was actually to do a campaign fundraiser asking our high school students for $250 a plate for their own personal campaign contributions. So it's frustrating as a parent to see our school board ignoring science, ignoring the voices of 190,000 students, ignoring the voices of 250,000 parents. And instead, our school board is resting on the survey of only 1,000 of our 25,000 teachers who don't want to come back to school. So it's
Lucy,
time for Fairfax County to listen to the science.
And, you know, you see the Washington Post have written up again today about your state. And, Lucy, let's just end it here. You had the past president say go back to school, and they say how irresponsible. You got the current president say we need kids back in school, and it doesn't matter. The unions are staring right back at them. What is your message to mayors, governors, and the president?
Get our kids back in school. Do what it takes and get our kids back in school, please.
It's unbelievable. And you're not just speaking as two parents. You're speaking for thousands of parents. And at one point, you're going to have to decide if you're going to pack up and go somewhere else. Because if you give the teachers the vaccine and they still don't go back to school, and you fix the ventilation system and they still won't go back to school, I think you're going to have to pack up and go. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. If it's, of course, an option. Coming up straight ahead, we'll continue to follow that. It is maddening. Meanwhile, Democrats